There we go. Now I can talk about this. But the WESIS group, I think, is an extremely accomplished group, very focused, lots of encouragement, and it will help any of the females that are in our program um, find associations, find other mentors, and possibly find jobs. Frequently, WESIS is associated with colleges, but not always. So, and you can be a WESIS member without belonging to that college. So, just something to think about. During this WESIS webinar that I was watching, I heard something from the panelists. One of them said this, and all of the others nodded their heads. They said, "We women," and I'm sharing this because she shared it. She said, "We women have a bit of a mental block that prevents us from getting as many cybersecurity jobs as men." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." She said, in a particular vacancy announcement, it'll say you need to have these 10 skills. She said, from her experience, men tend to apply for these things even if they have 40, 50, 60% of those things, of those boxes filled. Experience in 4, 5, 6 of those 10 things, men will apply. She said, from all the women that I've spoken to, we wait until we've got 9 or 10 before we will even apply. And I found that to be incredibly insightful. Chris and I have encouraged everyone here, if you can fill half of the requirements, feel that it's okay to apply. Nobody's going to laugh at you for attempting it. But in this WESIS webinar, 5 panelists, all women, said, we women don't do that. So I want to encourage the women that are on this or the women that are watching this, that according to WESIS, in this particular webinar, these 5 women all agreed they need to apply to more position vacancies than they currently do, because they want to be perfect. They want to get everything right. But there is something called progress over perfection. And that is what you should be seeking. Instead of trying to be the perfect applicant, be the one that puts in 100 applications and gets 1 or 2 job offers. So I wanted us to talk about Have You. And this goes to, I've been doing a lot of soul searching because, for example, I put together our incident response team in a year ago. June and July of last year is when I started it. We have done about 1,500 or so reports to the Federal Trade Commission and other report sites. And there are a number of our mentees that have obtained some really good credentials for experience to put onto their resumes. However, not very many of you are doing that. Some of you are doing this and it is doing well for you, but many of you, and I will say many, we have over 100 people in this program. We get maybe 6, 8, 10 people on the webinars, and even fewer that actually spend the time to do the incident response analyst work. Although it's pretty simple, yes, it's boring, but it's out there for you to be able to do something and then say in your resume that I have experience as an incident response analyst. Registering false negatives with the Federal Trade Commission, or with you, Samson, it would be the UK Police, I believe it's called, to help report and build evidence on cyber crimes. It is a crime to commit a fraud online. So I don't understand why we don't have more people doing this. So I asked myself, as a mentor, am I giving you good roadmaps, good things to think about, good ideas for how to apply yourself so that you can be more successful? So that's what I came up with, this thing I called Have You. And it's only one slide long, but I want you to think about this. As a mentee and a cybersecurity aspirant, do you have a course of study to complete your Security Plus? Have you set a time frame and realized that it's $400 to get the certification? So have you put a budget together so that when you're prepared to do the test, you have the money to put down against it? Have you updated your resume in the last month? Are you looking at your resume with an eye toward making it match for cybersecurity jobs? Have you done job searches for the private sector? One of the biggest job search sites is Indeed. For the federal government, the biggest, pretty much the only place you can look is called usajobs.gov. And have you compared them to your resume? In other words, how do I fit? How do I look compared to what they're looking for? And don't do that in the way of discouragement and say, no, I don't match that. Think about it and say, well, how can I match that? Okay, does that make sense? Don't look at it and say, oh, another failure, another failure. I'm not even going to try. Don't get into that mindset. I tell people frequently, have a salesman's mindset. A salesman, let's say you're, okay, my experience, my wife, you're standing at the cosmetic counter at Macy's. You may have 60, 70, 80 people walk by, but it's the few that turn and spend some time talking to you that you focus on, and then of those few, a few more are going to say, yes, I want to buy this. Have a salesman's mindset. Don't say, I'm going to apply for this, oh, I failed. I'm going to apply for this, oh, I failed. That's the wrong way of thinking, especially when you're looking for entry-level positions. You've got to apply for a bunch in order to get that one. Okay, so just have in your mind that you're going to have a number of them where they say you're not a good fit. Okay, well then, move on to the next one, that sort of thing. But you start by looking at your resume and comparing it to vacancy announcements and see how well you fit. All right? The next one, and this was how I started this off, incident response analyst experience. So far this month, we have a grand total of 2 people that have filed any reports on the FTC or any of the other report sites and logged it into our form. And oh, by the way, the second person has done, I think, 2 reports. Twyla is holding up the entire team this month. Twyla, I think you've done 54 reports this month. So Twyla is an absolute shooting star. If you want to figure out how to do this right, I suggest you speak with her and say, how do you do this? Because she is killing it. And I'm so proud of you, Twyla, for doing that. So incident response analyst experience, it's available for you. Set it as an objective. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do 1 report. I'm going to do 2 reports. I'm going to ask my mom to forward me her spam emails and I'll report them, or something like that. All right? And for those of you that came in late, I asked Twyla where she got all those, because I was speaking with somebody earlier and they said, well, I don't get phishing emails. And I said, okay, does your brother or your sister or your mom or your coworker at the fast food place you're working at? That helps you to help them just by saying I'm in a cybersecurity mentorship program and we have an incident response team, I would be happy to report this stuff on your behalf because it gets me experience that I can put on my resume. Be honest with them. I want to do this for the experience. Okay? So, incident response analyst experience. It is an opportunity that I see many of you month after month after month not take advantage of. And that concerns me. Have I not made it simple enough? Have I, is there too much work involved to file one report a month so that you can say you've done this? All right. Next one. Have you done our homework assignments? Those homework assignments have been out there since we got started. And those assignments are designed not to do work, but to help you sharpen your mind toward having that cybersecurity mindset. You walk into your gym and you think about cybersecurity. You walk into the grocery store and you think about cybersecurity. You go pick up your kids from daycare and you think about cybersecurity. You watch a movie on Netflix and you think about cybersecurity. Okay, that's what that homework is designed to help you do. And oh, by the way, along with that, bring it back to the team and share about it so that we can encourage one another. That's what the homework's for. Also, and lastly, remember I had a couple weeks ago, I had the session called Becoming Conversant. Here in the mentorship webinars is where we learn to speak the language of cybersecurity. It's where we become familiar with the terms, and we are not just reciting what we tested on when we go into our interviews. We learn to speak about this. Again, the homework is stuff that you do when you're not here. Sharing is what you do when you are here. All right? And those work together to make you a more well-rounded cybersecurity asset and resource. And the last one, and this is just because I heard it from that CEO, learn Kali Linux. That's an objective. Yes, you should be working on things like Network Plus. It's an absolute essential that you understand TCP/IP and routing and packets and those sorts of things. Ports and protocols, absolutely. Kali Linux is a tool that contains a bunch of other tools, all of which are valuable in this career field. So that's another thing that I'm saying, do you do this? If not, perhaps you should think about starting tomorrow. And like I put on the left-hand side, it's about progress, not perfection. It's about getting it in your mind so you wake up in the morning and say, I need to do this. Oh, I wonder what new cool stuff I'm going to find today, or whatever. Your goal is to build your mind and build your attitude so that it's reflected in the things you do. All right, that's all I had. Does anybody have any questions? I just wanted to bring that out to you. If you're looking for a way to help refocus, that previous slide might do it for you. And I'm recording it, so it's going to end up on YouTube. Anybody have any questions, comments? Excellent, Chris. Kali.org.
Scotty, can you go back one slide, please?
Sure.
My apologies if it seems like I'm obsessing over Samson's question, but it's a really great question. And I am feeling encouraged to probably write a post about it on LinkedIn, because that's a question that should be asked to everybody no matter what, is why you're doing something when it seems like it could be a downgrade, where it could be there. Mm-hmm. And again, I apologize if I'm obsessing over this question, but these questions here, those are the type of questions I have in my mind when I'm thinking about doing things. Mm-hmm. It's quite related, and I think that's a great slide right there. And especially the set a time frame and a budget for completion. Because when the Y video came out, it was July 23rd, almost a year. Actually, no, wait, it's just over a year. And that's where it hit me to go, I needed to go after the CISSP with that other mentor going, hey, do you have it? Because that's what people are going to look at. Mm-hmm. But then the other thought of my mind goes, okay, I got it. What's preventing me from going to my next level?
Right.
That's the question. And I'll rephrase this question to a little more positive aspect. What's next? What is my next step? What is my next thing, and what do I need for it? And so it's not just these statement questions. It's more, what's that question in your head of what is next to get to my next level that I want to do in my goals? I think that slide is a good slide for everybody. I'm glad that's on chat.
Everybody, I downloaded that slide for you, so take a look at it. And if you don't have a plan, this could be your plan. Make sense? All right. That's all I had for this week.
I may pull something on LinkedIn of what plan I'm following, actually, because I've identified something that I felt I was lacking, and that's why I went to the Google CyberSecurity cert, because that was a suggestion, even though I already have Security Plus and CISSP.
Yep. Okay, that's all I had, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. I'm going out to the middle of the desert, Central Arizona College. Yeehaw! But y'all have a wonderful one.
And, you too. Thank you.
Look forward to hearing from each of you. All right. Take care, everybody.
Y'all too. Bye-bye.